Welcome back to the Handknit podcast. My name is Grace and today is Monday, March 11th. This is a podcast about knitting and books and baking and cats, but most importantly knitting because that is what I love to do the most. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Ravelry. I'm most active on Instagram, so if you'd like to go follow me over on there, if you're picking one of those social medias to follow me on Instagram because that's where I am located a lot of the day, as a lot of us knitters are, because there's a lot of really very inspirational pictures of knitting stuff and yarn on Instagram. That aside, all of that information will be on my blog, which will be linked down below, or all of the information that I'm talking about now will be down below if you are on YouTube, so no worries, you don't have to go anywhere for that. Same thing applies to the show notes for this episode. Anything that I talk about, hopefully I'll remember to link all the things. If not, please let me know and I will change that or send you the information. So yes. On top of that, if you are new to this podcast, I work at a yarn store. It is called the Modern Skein and it is in Montgomery, Texas. I will leave all the information that you could possibly want about this store, the social medias, the website where we have our online store, our address if you want to come and hang out with us, because we would love to see you, meet you, knit with you, find a project for you, etc., etc. Yarn enable you, because we're very good at that. All of that will be all the various places that I've already said down below on YouTube or on my blog. So that is important information to remember for sure. Yes. Before we continue on, I'd like to make two statements. I have made an incredibly good cup of tea. I'm very proud of myself. Let's make that 3 statements. Yes, I do have new glasses. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And 3, I've been podcasting for a long time, like a long time. And today, this moment, just about 5 minutes ago, I sat down, started talking, hadn't pushed record. I was just going on my merry way. I haven't made that mistake in a very long time, and I don't know what made me forget, but it happens. I don't know why, but it did. Oh well, anyway, I just wanted to let you know, just being very open and honest with you guys today, just sharing all the information. But getting back to the normal podcast stuff, if you would like to go grab something tasty to drink, I have like I said, a delicious cup of tea today. It is so good. Very much needed. Or something to snack upon, or whatever, an animal to snuggle, or a project to work on, or all of the above. And you can come back and join me for some crafty chat. Good. I don't know why. Like sometimes I do the exact same thing. Like I've done the exact same thing for other times and it just didn't taste as good. I don't know why. But okay, anyway, so tea, yes. Also, do we do glasses first or do we do sweater first? I don't know. Let's do sweater first. No, let's do glasses first. So I have new glasses. We're just going through this whole thought process together. It's like you're actually here with me. So I do, like, my eyes are the same, but I did get a new frames, so I can still wear my other pair, which is really awesome because clearly they're very drastically different. These are more of like a wiry frame, and now I literally can't see anything. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you what they look like very well. But they're just kind of like a rose gold, shiny material. They're very wiry. They have a nose, the type of nose piece that I have not had in a very long time. Which is just, it's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a fact of life and I'm getting readjusted to it. But yeah, so I still wear these. I can still wear my other ones if I want to have a more, that type of a look. Or if I want to wear these, I can. I love them. They're Warby Parker glasses, which I've had for a very long time. And I'm going to try not to touch my hair too much because that happens. But these bangs are really just not cooperating today. I'm sorry. So yes, I have new glasses. That's very exciting. If you wondered why my face looked different, that was probably why. They make me feel very cute and sassy, if you will, especially with my short hair. And I think it's just really fun for the spring and summer. So I love them, super excited about them. My old glasses will still be in rotation, so I'm just very excited. Just so you're aware, if you were concerned that my other glasses, you would never see them again, because I'm sure you were really worried about that. I'm sure you probably weren't, but just in case you were. Anyway, so that's my glasses situation. The second situation, what am I wearing? Oh, I don't know. It might be just a hand knit sweater or something. This is the test knit that I finished for Isabel Kramer. The pattern will be coming out sometime in April for EYF, or Edinburgh Yarn Festival. If you are going, or if you're not going, it'll be available, I believe. So, and there are now sirens going by. So I finished it last Wednesday and was blocking it, or was about to block it last time I recorded, I believe, and it was still damp when I showed it to you guys, and thank goodness it dried for me to wear it on Tuesday, which was awesome because the highs were literally like in the mid-high 40s, which is like very odd for Houston. That being said, it's currently in the 80s and there's pollen everywhere. The pollen is like worse than it's ever been before, supposedly, and we can tell. Our sinuses can tell, let me tell you that. The pollen and the time change has really not been very kind to me. I don't know about everybody else, but it has not been kind to me. So if I sound a little bit nasally, that is why. We can thank the pollen for that. But anyway, so I got to wear this sweater to work because the weather allowed that. I didn't get hot at all. I wore like a little tank top underneath. It was awesome. I was super toasty warm. I knit this out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, which some people, which is totally personal preference. It can seem scratchy. I will say that. That is totally true. I would completely agree with that. It can be sometimes a little scratchy, but I haven't found any issue on my arms, which is the place where it was, or around my, well, not right now, but like when I was wearing it before, it was on the exposed skin that it was on was around my neck, my back, and my shoulders and arms, if that makes sense, because I had a tank top on. Because I knew that this would keep me warm, but not warm enough to just wear that. I wanted a little extra layer underneath, if that makes sense. Just so you know. You know all my thought processes and my comings and goings and all that jazz. Anyway, so I got a comment from my mom, which was very kind of her. She was wondering if I could show you guys what it looks like in action, or in action while I'm wearing it and while I'm recording, so I can talk to you guys about it while I show you. That's what that means. I'm just mentally thinking and it's not really processing very well as it's coming out, so I apologize if that didn't make sense, but that's basically what I'm going to do. I have taken pictures for it, or Sam, my husband, he took pictures for me, which is really wonderful, so I do have them for project page purposes when the pattern comes out. Our deadline, the test knitters deadline, is the 12th, so tomorrow, which clearly I'm done. So that's very exciting, but again, I just wanted to show this to you guys, also because I know that a lot of people are interested in this sweater. It has gotten a lot of like just interest and excitement about it, especially at the yarn store that I work at. A lot of people are really excited about it, and yes. So without further ado, this is the Mycroft sweater by Isabel Kramer. I knit it out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes, which is a worsted weight yarn in the Fjord Heather colorway. We have this beautiful broken rib texture that is on the cuffs of the sleeves, and then also on the bottom of the sweater, which I'll show you in just a minute, and then up at the top. It's awesome. It's super easy. You have a little bit of short rows in the back. Very easy. Again, I do think this would be a good maybe a first sweater, definitely a second sweater if you're just wanting to go through the raglan, the top-down sweaters, maybe with a little bit of short rows, and then you can add this in and then do a little bit of patterning. These things, the Ingrace raglan whatevers, you do have that little bit of extra, so you got that line. That line continues down underneath the arm, which is clearly you can see a lot right there, which is why I'm going to stand up and show it to you guys. But that continues down the side. It looks awesome. It's a very cool pattern feature. It was one of those things that, like, I didn't expect that to be part of the pattern, but when I realized that's what the pattern was telling me to do, I was very excited about it. So, here we have all this. You can see this. Then we have the side texture, which continues to go down to the bottom, and then there's the bottom. Oh, that's okay. Let's try getting on the chair. Will that help? I don't know. There you go. There's the bottom. Anyway, it knit up really quickly. I knit it, excuse me, while I'm very close to the camera. I knit it in a week, so it's doable. It's very doable. You don't have to dedicate your entire lifetime to knitting a sweater. It's possible to knit it quickly. You don't have to knit it within a week. I was just trying to get things done quickly, and that happened. So, I love this sweater a lot. Like, normally pullovers are not my, like, go-to type of sweater that I make. Usually cardigans are my favorite type of sweater to knit, so I haven't knit too many pullovers, which was why one of my goals for the year is to steek more pullovers, because I really love a lot of, like, colorwork pullovers, but I don't want to have a ton of pullovers. But this is actually quite nice, and I really enjoy it. That being said, with it becoming more warm and the fact that this is a heavier weight sweater, I'll only wear it in the colder months or when I'm at home and the air conditioning is on, which is the case currently. So I got cold and threw it on, and now I look really cute because I have a hand knit sweater on. This is the knitter's dream right here. This was my goal, is to, not my main goal, but it's a really wonderful feeling to be like, you're just doing stuff around your house or whatever, your apartment, doing laundry, getting the groceries, putting the groceries away, all that jazz, and you're like, oh, I'm cold, I'll just throw on a handmade sweater. No big deal. It's a wonderful feeling. I don't know about you, but I can't express how good this made me feel to put on a hand knit sweater and how much I love wearing it. So that is a little side rant. Let's take a little tea break, if you will. We will. Let's cheers. Happy tea drinking if you're drinking tea. Oh, that's so good. So again, Mycroft hasn't come out yet. Comes out in April. I will keep an eye on when that comes out so I can share that with you guys when it does come out. So if you are interested and you're not, like, following the social medias of Isabel Kramer or whatever, I am very happy to share that information with you. So I'll keep an eye out on that and tell you guys when it has come out so you can make one for yourself. I would highly recommend it. There should be more Mycrofts in the world. I'll probably be making more in the future. I would highly recommend it. It's an amazing, amazing sweater. Isabel Kramer does it again. Her patterns can do no wrong. in my personal opinion, that is, all of her patterns are, like, brilliant and so wonderful. So do make a Mycroft. It is wonderful. Such a great sweater. So we have quite a lot to talk about, and I've already been talking for a good while, so this might be a longer podcast. Oh, good. Goody, goody. So, where to begin? And I even have stuff to talk about that I don't even have with me. And I apologize, my bangs. I really do apologize. I'm sorry. Okay. Where to begin? Where to begin? Let's start with, no, that's yarn acquisitions. Let's not do that. Okay, let's just start with things I've been working on. How about that? That's the easy response. Okay, so I don't remember if I had finished that by that time. So we're just gonna remind you of it. So the last sweater class that I am teaching, it's been a series of 3 sweaters, or 3 sweaters, it's been a series of 3 classes. It'd be quite amazing if it was 3 sweaters. That would be intense. So it's a class of the modern skein. Words, we're just thinking, and being slow about it. So at the modern skein, I've been teaching the sweater class series. There have been 3 classes. We started back in January. We're getting ready to have our last one this coming Thursday, which is so exciting. I have had 3 students who have made beautiful sweaters. I have 1 finished sweater already, or I don't personally, but one of my students does, and then 1 that is very close to being done, and then I'm not sure where the 3rd one is on her progress, but I know it's very close to being finished. Which, ladies, if you are watching, I am incredibly proud of you. I think that is so wonderful, and I'm so excited that you guys took the plunge, were very brave to try knitting a first sweater. There is truly amazing. So, thank you for taking the class. You ladies have been wonderful students. So, I have also been working on my sweater to go along with the class. Sorry, I'm reaching down to get my tea because it's just so good and I can't stop drinking it. Which is the pattern is the Basic Raglan Pullover by Joji Locatelli, which is another brilliant first sweater. So if you are looking into diving into the world of knitted sweaters, please do. You will not regret it, and you'll never look back, and you'll become a garment knitter. So that's the pattern. And last week, sometime, I finished the body, and I also finished the first sleeve, which was the requirements of the homework that I had given them to have done by this coming Thursday. Which, if they had done more than that, which one of them has, which is totally wonderful, just more power to them. It's so exciting. But I'm just going to leave it at the 1 sleeve because I've had other things that needed to be worked on and knitting plans, and I've just been very busy. So I did get that done. I don't remember if I had that finished last week when we last chatted. If not, I apologize that I don't have it with me, but it is in our living room somewhere. I'm not sure where, but it is there. And yeah, I'll have that done soon. I do plan on steeking it. It will be a spontaneous steek, as I have taken to calling it, which just means there have been no physical planning on the sweater. Because normally, if you were planning to steek something, I'm going to set down my tea because I need to use my hands. If you were planning a steek, you would have a little section running down the front. Like if I was going to steek this sweater, which you could, and it would be awesome, you would put it, this is not the exact middle, but like somewhere in the exact middle, and then you'd have a span of like 5 to 7 to 10-ish stitches where you would just have a runway basically and a better guideline of where to do your reinforcement and then cut. That takes some extra planning, which is obviously very important, but also you can do it without doing that. It's totally possible. It is very possible. And so I'm going to try and do that with my class sweater, which I'm calling my Toady sweater because my yarn is called Toad, which is Knit Picks City Tweed DK, by the way. if you were curious, if you are new to the podcast or missed last week's or the previous week's or whatever. So yes, I plan on doing that. I plan on making it into a cardigan. I'm not sure if I'm going to put buttons or buttonholes. That has yet to be decided. So yes, my goal is to do the reinforcing or whatever at home so I can be very confident in my reinforcing and even perhaps knit the button bands or just the bands. Just so when I do cut it, I know it's not going anywhere because I'll be doing the cutting at work in the yarn store. So if you are local and you want to come see me do that, you can. I'm not sure when that's going to be happening, but that'll be shared with the world at some point. So that's happening. That's not my top priority right now. We're feeling the congestion also because thanks pollen. But so, okay. We talked about that one sweater. I was working on that. Another thing that I've been working on is basically the exact same thing. It's a top-down sweater. It's not a raglan. It's a yoked sweater, so the increases are spread out along here and around the back. There's color work up at the top, but literally the only things that were missing from both the basic raglan cardigan pullover, excuse me, and this branches and buds were the sleeves. And it just so happened that they were both knit on the same size needle. So, but in my mind, I decided to knit one sleeve of the basic raglan pullover because that was what the one requirement was, and then take those needles and knit both sleeves, or at least one sleeve of my branches and buds pullover, and then maybe go back to the basic raglan and then come back to the branches and buds. So I wouldn't be knitting the same sleeve back to back if I got bored, which usually I don't, because with these kinds of sleeves I'm usually like reading something or watching something or just being distracted in general. So I was like, I'm gonna get one of the sleeves done. Sleeve 1 and sleeve 2 is about halfway done. And then, dear viewers, we will have another finished sweater. This sweater is old. Did I start this? When did I start this? This was I think we were still living in Dallas when I cast this on. This is Branches and Buds by Carrie Bostic Hodge, or Hodge, I'm not sure which. Just a basic top-down color work. Not wanting my ends to get in my tea, my delicious tea. Let us not get yarn fuzz in my tea, please. My yarn is Drops Flora in this coral colorway, and then obviously the light gray. I've gotten a lot of questions if I will be embroidering the little flowers on the front. I am not planning on doing that. My main concern, my first excuse, or not excuse, my first reason that I came up with it was that I couldn't figure out, or I didn't know what color to actually do the buds in, which I know is a very, very silly reason to not want to do it, but I just really love the simplicity of the branches and not having the buds on them. I think that it's just very simple and very classic and elegant looking. I think there are so many beautiful beautiful versions out there with the embroidered buds on them, and I love that. But with my particular color combination, I'm not sure if I would like that as much. But I really love the ones that people have done with the embroidered buds. So, will not be doing the embroidered buds. I do believe that I did the sleeves slightly shorter, so they'll probably be around this length, I think. So that's exciting. Yes. I don't know what else to say about this. It's been a very fun knit. I remember really when I did cast this on when we were living in Dallas, which was a long time ago. I remember knitting this has been very fun, and I think that if you have knit sweaters before and you're wanting to do a colorwork sweater, this might be a good first colorwork sweater for you. It's good practice to get with the right tension between your floats. Which also, let's take a look at these floats, because isn't it a hashtag of like show me your floats or something like that? We'll show you now, because I'm proud of these. I think it's awesome. It's very pretty to look at. So it's this way. Let's get some better lighting. So those are my floats. That's the color work. This did not have short rows, if I remember correctly. Not that that matters. They're very easy to add in. So yeah, I am very happy about this. Another languishing, that would be Languishing Whip number 2 for March. So if I'm sure I'll get that done. I might even get that done this evening. So that would be really awesome. It's a good reading and knitting project, because I'm very behind on my reading. And I want to do more of that. So that's one of the things that I've been working on. The second thing is another very old project living in my loops bag, which is a yarn store in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which we have been to several times and we love greatly. This is a very old project, and the sleeves are somewhere, but I don't know where they are. The sleeves are knit separately from the body, and then you join them all together, and you have thousands upon thousands of stitches, and that's just the way that it is. This is knit on size 3s. I don't remember the last time I knit a sweater on size 3, so we can just assume, based off of that information, how fast this sweater is going. If you're a non-knitter, you don't understand that. That means it's going very, very slowly, because size 3s are very small. Granted, it could be smaller. It could be smaller, but it's not. But, like, these are small. I know that doesn't really look very small, but these are very small needles to be knitting a sweater on. That being said, I'm not complaining. No, I'm not complaining. I am kind of. But I love the fabric that this is creating. This is the pattern. How can we show this to you? I don't know if you can see that very well, but this is Lady Mademoiselle Hold on. Let's retry that. Lady Mademoiselle Dandelion by Along Avec Anna. She has a lot of really awesome patterns that are just very, like, classic shapes, lots of cardigans. She has another sweater that's very similar to the Branches and Buds, but not exactly the same, and I believe that's a pullover as well. It might be a cardigan, I don't remember. She's got a lot of really beautiful patterns. She is French, but a lot of her patterns were either translated into English or they're written in English, so there's no issues there. So the dandelion part comes in from these little stitches that I'm doing, which look really complicated, and I'm having a trouble. I don't know how well you can see that. I don't know. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. We just had to play around with it a little bit. So these are dandelions. They're very easy to do. You can look up dandelions on YouTube and you'll see a stitch tutorial. They're very easy to do. They are time consuming. They're very time consuming. But this was, okay. Let's take a little pause, slight tangent. If you've been watching this podcast for a while, before and around Christmas time, I had a very large knitting soapbox moment and was saying things like, if you're not enjoying what you're knitting, there's a good chance that you're not enjoying it because of your needles. Like, your needles are probably the source of your dislike for the project. That's not necessarily true for all projects. That's totally true. But if you're not enjoying the knitting, there's a good chance that your needles are the problem. Which was totally the case for this project. I've changed the needles, and goodness gracious, I love it so much more. Gotta get those pointy needles, man. They really change everything. So, since, what day was it? Was it Tuesday? It must have been Tuesday, because I was at work. Yeah, so on Tuesday, I was here where this little teapot stitch marker is, which I was very kindly gifted by a friend, and then I knit all of that at work, and it was great. The nice thing is that within this stitch pattern, repeat or whatever, you have only 2 rows of very intense, like, gotta focus, and the rest of it is just stockinette. So that is very nice. It is kind of like, okay, it's fine. Once I get past these 2, I'm smooth sailing for the next however many rows. I'm fine. And then you do it over again. Not misaligned, but staggered. So this is the body. I have the sleeves somewhere. Like I said, the sleeves are knit separately, and then you join all them up at the top. So this is a very labor-intensive project. I will say that there has been, I don't know, like, I'm really enjoying it, but I'm also not really looking forward to joining the sleeves and the body, and I know that's like a very first world problem. It's not that big a deal. I just need to get over it, but for some reason I'm just not really looking forward to it. But who knows? Maybe by the time I get there, I'll be really excited about it, because I'll be almost done with the sweater. My yarn that I'm using is Cascade 220 Fingering, which is this lovely ice blue color. Again, this is a color that I don't really have very much of, so way to go me last time when we picked this out. My mom has yarn to do this. I'm not sure if she's cast hers on yet, but the fabric that this is creating, and especially on the size 3, though it is small and is very slow going, I know that the fabric that it's creating will be perfect for Houston springs and summers, and even starting into the fall when it's still really hot, because that's a thing. So I'm really excited about that. I have the perfect sweater to put over like a sundress or something like that, and I've now readjusted the length so it won't be as long. Not because I don't want to knit that much, people. That is not the reason why. I'm not trying to get out of knitting it, but I want it more cropped, because that is how I'm doing everything now, apparently. So yes, that is very exciting. I've knit the first sleeve. I have half of the second sleeve, and then just a lot of the body to do. So that's going along nicely. Again, it's just it's a long process. And that's just how it is. And I'm really excited to be able to wear it. I love all the versions of it online. I've loved all the versions on Instagram and on Ravelry, so I'm very excited to finally have my own and be able to wear it and enjoy it and love it. So I'm very excited about that. So let's do this acquisition, which was very kindly gifted to me by my mom. She, let's see, where to begin. So if you are new to this podcast, my mom broke some stuff in her shoulder back in January and had to have surgery, has a lot of pins in her shoulder now, but she's doing fine. She can knit perfectly. It is wonderful. And her just gaining back strength has been really awesome to see her progress. She's doing really well. This past week they went back to Vail, Colorado, which is where the accident happened. It happened after she and my dad had finished skiing, so it didn't happen while skiing, it happened after. So they went back to see her doctor and just to get the all clear and be like, this is good, I'm excited to see how you're healing, it looks great. She had some PT, it was awesome, but they also stopped at the Maker and Stitch in Edwards, Colorado, I believe. And I think I actually have a card in here. Thank you, Mom, for including a business card in here. That was perfect. So, this is the yarn store, Maker and Stitch. They're in Edwards, Colorado. And yeah, we didn't have time to go when we all went in January, but on their website they have these bags that are like super cute, and when we were trying to figure out if we could go before, I had seen them and I really liked this one in particular, and so when like I found out that they were gonna get to go back, I was like, oh my goodness, this one bag, I love it so much. And it says the adventure awaits, which I feel like as a knitter, and just in general, just in life in general, or whatever you may be a hobby in, but like if you have a hobby in, whatever your hobby is, that's the correct way to say that. But like specifically in knitting, because this is a project bag, it's fun to be like, not be afraid of new stuff to learn, not be afraid of knitting things that it might be scary, not be afraid of steeking things or spontaneous steeks or whatever, because the adventure awaits, and it might work out, it might not, but it'll be an adventure, and hopefully it'll be fun, and you'll learn something new, and it'll be a new experience. So I think this is really cool for multiple reasons. Obviously, again, this can apply to all of life, but I really love this bag. It's made out of this very like heavy duty linen, and then on the inside, I actually didn't realize it, but it's kind of like a faux leather. It's very, very unique. I didn't realize that. But on the back side of this bag, you can see like all this camping stuff. So really, the adventure awaits could apply to going camping or hiking or exploring. But we're gonna say that it applies to knitting because I knit more than I camp or hike. That's just me. Anyway, so I love this bag. I love this bag. Inside this bag are awesome things. My mom got me this little pin, which is just also perfect because it says the same thing. The adventure awaits. And it will look perfect on my happy bag or somewhere, because this one in particular seems very special. It was designed in Canada. Fun fact, it says it on the back. I don't know, again, it just is an encouragement not to be scared about trying new things. And I think that's really cool. I really like that. Or like not worrying about, trusting that things will get better in the end. It'll be an adventure. It might be a not super fun adventure, but it'll be an adventure either way, and it'll all be okay in the end. So, that got really deep. I do apologize. I really like that. I just really like the pin in the back. Okay, I just really like it. So, my mom picked up some local yarn for me. This is the Luxe Adorna Fun Size Bundle. And there's a free cowl, which I actually had the pattern for. She got me the pattern. It's 100% cashmere, so it's like very soft and squishy. And this is my little bundle that I got. Let's do it this way. So it starts with a brown, fades to some greens, and then a white, and then pink, purple, and it's got some oranges and pinks and slight yellows in there. Tied with this beautiful bow. Come on. There we go. So yes, this, I guess the colorway is called Crazy Redhead, which is very fun. I'm excited about that. And then the Lucy cowl it looks to be just like a regular like infinity cowl that you knit as a tube and maybe graft the two things together. Yes. Oh yeah, because you do a provisional cast on. Okay, that makes sense. So that's the pattern that came with the yarn. Really love that. It's so soft and so squishy. Thank you, Mom. My mom got one too, and I believe she said that instead of fading to like reds and purples, it faded to blues. And now the cat is throwing up. Oh yay. Now we can move on. We just finished talking about the wonderful gift that my mom gave me with the Adventure Weeds thing. The cat has since thrown up and has stopped making racket. So I had quite a lot of yarn acquisitions, or quite a lot. It was a very special occasion this past weekend. The Modern Skein, the yarn store that I work at, celebrated the 1-year anniversary on March 8th. So on March 8th and 9th we had just a big 2-day party. We had 2 trunk shows, one of Red Stag Fiber and Suburban Stitcher, which is really awesome. There were deals. You could walk in and roll a dice and get some stuff or get a discount. There were cupcakes. In fact, I'm eating one of the brownies now. It's very good. So I got some yarn because, like I said, it was a special occasion, and Diane of the Suburban Stitcher was wearing this super cute cropped cardigan that was knit out of, she knit hers out of sock. She had test knit this pattern for Andrea Mowry, and now I can't remember what the name is called, but it's something like Little Yellow Sweater. Yes, a Little Yellow Sweater, which stands for LYS, which I think is really cool. It is coming out for Edinburgh Yarn Fest in April, so I can't cast this on right now, which is totally fine because I have I have the current whip situation, then I have even bigger knitting news to share with you, so I have to put that on hold. But anyway, so in this wonderful Modern Skein bag, which we still have quite a lot of, in this bag, I have goodies. So first off, I have my pin in here somewhere. Here it is. So we had these 1-year anniversary pins, and just gotta get one of those, obviously. So I got one of those. For the birthday celebration, Diane Suburban Stitcher came up with a custom color for the shop. In addition to several other yarns, there was Hedgehog, Red Stag, and Dream in Color. All those yarns had a custom colorway for our shop that weekend, and I believe there are some left of the Dream in Color and the Hedgehog left, and there might be some of this color left. There were 3 skeins when I left on Saturday, so it sold very quickly, let me just tell you that. So this is the colorway that Diane came up with. It's called A Very Modern Birthday. This was on her sock base, and I love this so much. I have no idea what it's going to become, but it's one of those things where it's like, how can I not? because it's like right there, and this is not going to happen again. And just gotta seize the moment. Buy the yarn, buy the pin, buy all the things. So I got this. This has no plans, but that's okay. You know what? It's fine. We had that conversation quite a lot over the weekend of, I'm just adding this to my stash. It doesn't have a plan. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with having a yarn stash, people. There's nothing wrong with it. Embrace the stash. Embrace building the stash, but like, look at these colors, people. Let's do it that way. Can we even, like, what? So yes, a very modern birthday, super awesome. So then comes my sweaters, quantity of yarn in my bag. Normally, so I very rarely, not very rarely, that's very extreme. I don't very often knit sweaters out of hand-dyed or like fancy indie-dyed yarn, just because for the sweater that I want to use, I don't want to have to worry about like it being too precious to wear or like get good use out of. So that's why I am more likely to buy Wool of the Andes or buy Drops or Cascade or whatever, which there's nothing wrong with either one. Whatever works for you, how you prefer to knit your sweaters is awesome. I just don't, also, like, indie dyed yarn can be expensive, and that's totally fine. That's just how it is, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of work that gets put into that yarn. But if you're more on a yarn budget, then Wool of the Andes or Drops or Cascade or whatever, something like that might make more sense. So I don't very often knit sweaters out of indie dyed yarn, but I had some Christmas money left over, and I also had some birthday money. So I decided that it seemed fair, and since it was a, or not fair, I thought that it was like a special occasion, it was a good idea to invest in yarn for this little sweater called the LYS, the little yellow sweater. Mine is not going to be yellow, but it's going to be this beautiful color by Suburban Stitcher. It's called a Happy Accident. I'm quite in love with this color. It's basically like a gray purpley with like speckles of everything. Like, isn't that not beautiful? It's beautiful. So gorgeous. It was very hard to decide, but I knew that, so last time we had Diane, the Suburban Stitcher, at our store for a trunk show, I made the mistake of waiting till like the end of the day to pick out what I wanted, which obviously we wait to like let our customers get what they want, but I waited too long, and the things that I had wanted were gone. So I timed my pullings out a little bit more wisely, and I was able to get the things that I wanted. And the sweater was not planned. It was not my intention to do that. I did go in knowing that I would be spending more than I normally would, but I had this Christmas money, so it was fine. But I decided to, instead of get yarn for a shawl or something, that I wanted to get yarn for the sweater, which I now cannot wait to knit. I'm very excited. So, if you if you watch the Suburban Stitchers podcast, which if you don't, you should, because it's really awesome. But if you don't, she just knit or if you do, I guess. If you do excuse me, my voice. She just knit a sweater recently on her DK base. I think it's the party sweater, but it's in this exact same colorway. So if you have seen what that looks like, that's how this is gonna knit up. And I am very excited. I cannot wait. This is gonna be probably a reward sweater when I get all this stuff done that I'm about to tell you about. So let's talk about that now. So, people, I need my phone. Oh, my phone's dead. Dang it. Okay. Well, we'll just talk about it because I don't really have anything to show you. And I'll link all this stuff in the show notes, so if you want to go see it, you can. Long story short, I have another test knit coming up. I am so excited, everyone. I'm so excited. So this is a sweater. It's going to be a sweater for Melody of Mandarines. I think that's how you pronounce it. I have followed her for a very, 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 very long time and have tried to test knit for her several times over the past year, but never made it in, which is totally fine. All of the things that got test knit or whatever are gorgeous, and everyone did a beautiful job. But I've really wanted to test knit for her for a very long time, and so when this sweater came out and she made the call for the testers, and I got the email, and the email to submit a form with your colors and stuff, and I was like, oh, I really want to make this sweater, because I had seen her wearing this sweater or something in one of her vlogs around October, and I remember commenting on one of her pictures or the vlog or whatever and being like, when is this pattern coming out, because I really want to make it. And she said something like it will be coming out like in the springtime or whatever, but it still needed to be tested, and I was like, oh man, I have to wait a long time to make this sweater. I probably won't get to test knit this sweater, just because I knew that there are so many more people who are like very capable of doing a much better job and could have done a beautiful job. But it came out, I got the email to submit the form, I submitted the form. 2 days later, I found out I got the test knit, and I was just so excited, everyone. I can't express to you how excited I was. You can ask Sam, because he experienced it full on. He was just so excited. So I know this is a very, like, it's not silly, but it's just it seems like a very small thing to be excited about, but I've wanted to test knit for her for a really long time. I love all of her stuff. I love just her general aesthetic and her vibe of all of her pictures, her patterns, her vlogs. I'm so excited. I did get permission to share and talk about this on the podcast, so that's good. I'm not sure if I can share the name of it yet, but if my phone was alive, I would show you pictures of the sweater, so I'm going to link to that in the show notes, so if you want to go see that, please go do that. Excuse me. But yes, my yarn is on its way. It is coming. I've picked out very different colors to what I would normally pick. I'm very excited. One of them, in fact, is the color of the year, which is coral, which, if you were unaware, coral is one of the colors of the year, if not the color of the year, and I, again, don't have any coral sweaters or items of clothing, so, or that I wear on a regular basis anyway. So I'm very excited. I think this will be a really fun experience. I think it'll be another sweater. The weight will be very similar to Branches and Buds, so it'll be very lightweight, so it'll be good for Houston. It is a pullover, which, if this is a good example, I'm very excited about. There are bobbles, there's color work involved. I am so excited. So that is coming up. The deadline, we have about a month from I believe the deadline for us is April 15th. So hopefully my yarn comes soon. But if this is any indication, though this will be a smaller gauge, if this is any indication, I can really power through if I need to. So I know I can make it work, and I know that I feel like once I get the yoke done with all the fancy happy bits up here, it's just smooth sailing. So maybe good reading stuff, good traveling stuff, which, speaking of, we're just transitioning into all these fun topics that I get to share with you guys. This has been a very happy week. We've got lots of content, yay! So speaking of traveling, Sam and I are going to Waco this weekend, and you may wonder, why are we going to Waco? We very rarely go to Waco. I don't think I've actually been stopped in Waco. I've driven through Waco. Waco is where Baylor is, if you were unaware. It's in Texas, obviously. If you're not sure on Texas geography. So I have a very dear friend. Her name is Allison, and she and I met in our French study abroad group in Grenoble. She is such a wonderful friend. I am very blessed by her friendship. I taught her how to knit, and now she's opening up her own yarn store in Waco, Texas. It's not open yet, and yeah, so I can't share with you all the details, also because I don't know all the details, but it is coming, and so we are going this coming weekend to kind of help, or I'm going to help her like sticker stuff, and also just hang out because it's fun hanging out with her and I miss her. So that is very exciting. I see a lot of knitting this coming weekend because she is in fact a knitter, and this is very exciting, and getting together with knitting friends that you don't see very often is very exciting, and I just really love that. So when this yarn store opens, which the name is tricot, which is the French word for knitting or to knit, I'm sure that'll be shared with everyone everywhere, so you can be on the lookout for that. That is very exciting. If you're in Waco, in the Waco area or nearby, you should definitely go check her out because she is wonderful. She's awesome to be around. She's very funny, and I know that her yarn selections that she's got picked out are amazing. They are so awesome. So you really should go check her out when her store opens. And also go follow her on all of the store social media. I will also include that in the show notes as well. So please go check her out. Give her some love. Go follow all the things, because tricot is going to be awesome, and I am so excited for her to do that. So yay! Okay. So I believe that's all that I have for you guys this week. We talked a lot about a lot. A lot. So did I miss anything? I don't think so. Not really reading anything like super worth sharing, or that I'm like also in the middle of. Did bake some cookies last week. They were just regular cookies. I am planning on making something called brookies, I think. I could be completely wrong on that. If my understanding is correct, if I'm understanding correctly, there we go. That's how you say that. What that is, if I've said the name right, a brookie is a brownie on the bottom and a cookie on the top. So in theory, it sounds really awesome. Whether it will actually work, I don't know. The pictures on the blog that I found from Pinterest looked great, but this could be a Pinterest fail. I have no idea, but I am going to give it a try because I think that'd be fun. So I'll link that recipe in the show notes as well if you're interested to make brookies yourself. You can let me know how they turn out. But yes, that's all the baking that I have done and will be doing. So nothing new on that front at all. So sorry about that. And so with that, I have said all that I needed to say. We've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. Yarn, tricot, and Allison opening tricot, the new yarn acquisitions, the test knit, which is just so exciting. I'm just so excited, everyone. I am so excited. So yes, that is all the things that I wanted to share with you. Also, my craft. please go into my craft when the pattern comes out. It is wonderful. It is truly amazing. I would highly recommend it. I will be making more in the future, for sure. I hope that you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that your crafty plans, that they were successful, that they will be successful. If you have goals to finish things this week, I hope that that is wonderfully completed. And if not, it's okay. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. It'll be okay. Like I said, we have a big weekend travel knitting friend knitting, which is some of the best type of knitting that I think that there is, and I'm very excited about that. Hopefully my test knitting yarn should come in soon. I did order it over the weekend, and I don't know if the order actually got processed just because things are closed or not. The mail is not mailing, obviously. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll come in soon. If not, I'm not too worried. I think it'll be okay. It'll be fine. I'm not going to stress about it. It'll be okay. Okay. So yes, all that jazz. If you'd like to follow me on any of my social medias, all that information will be linked down below if you're on YouTube, or on my blog if you are on my blog. Or if you'd like to go see the show notes, which are also on my blog, or the link to them is in the down bar if you're on YouTube. All these words that I just keep repeating in different orders. Ooh. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. I really appreciate every single one of you who comes back and just spends some time with me, listens to my rambles, however rambly they may be, and just thank you. With your likes and your comments and your subscriptions and all that jazz. I really do appreciate every single one of you. It means a lot. It does mean quite a lot, so thank you for that. And so with that, I'm going to go. I need to edit this, I need to do the laundry, I need to finish my branches and bud sleeve, because I'm going to try and get as much done with everything, any kind of languishing whip or non-languishing whip that I can before my test knit yarn comes, because I feel like this is just like trying to get all the me knitting in before the test knit, like, has to happen, which I'm really excited about, and I really love that, and I am so excited to have this opportunity. I can't express to you. I'm so excited. Yay! So yes, that's gonna happen. Hopefully I can get the branches and buds done, like done, like marked as finished on my Ravelry page, done, and blocked, ends woven in. Another thing very quickly I would like to say, in the comment that my mom left on last week's episode, and another conversation that she and I had just about the podcast in general, which is very wonderful. My mom gives me very helpful feedback and like just general good ideas about the podcast. But she did have the idea, since Sam is super helpful with all my knitting stuff and is very supportive, that it would be a fun idea to teach him how to weave in my ends, because I don't like doing that. Which, when she said that, I was like, oh, that's a really funny idea. And then I began thinking about it and realized that he probably actually would enjoy weaving in the ends. So I was like, that's totally happening. I don't know how soon it's gonna happen, but it'll definitely happen, and we'll see if he'll be willing to weave in my ends of my projects. So I just think that's such a funny idea, such a wonderful idea. Mom, maybe you can get Dad to weave in your ends as well. You can teach him how to weave in ends. That might be helpful. So it's always nice to have the option of someone else weaving in your ends too. But we'll see. We'll see if Sam actually wants to do that or not. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try, because that would be very handy and very awesome, and just make me love him even more than I already do. because weaving in ends is definitely a labor of love. Anyway, so that was just an extra little bit that I forgot to tell you guys about that I thought was hilarious and definitely needed to be shared because it's awesome. A very, very good idea. So now I think I've said everything I need to say. Again, wonderful week. Hope you have a wonderful continuing week. Crafty plans, successful, all that jazz. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Bye.